Alright guys, so quick intro to this video. I'm super excited today. Alex from Trippin On Trout, one of my favorite YouTube channels, is going to do a guest review here. We've been trying to get our hands on the Orvis Helios line of fly rods, and I reached out to Alex because I've been watching his channel for a long time and asked him if he could review his own rods that he's been using for the last few years, and he agreed. So this should be really cool. Alex is going to do this video for us, and if you haven't checked out his channel, I'll link to it at the end of this video and also in the description down below. This guy is a guide over in New Zealand where there's some of the best trout fishing in the world, and his videos are world class. So definitely check them out at the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get it started.
Friends, buddies, pals, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. So I'm here to give you just a quick rundown review, if you will, of the Helios 3 5-weight D. So with every Helios rod, you have the rod weight, and then it either comes in an F, which stands for finesse, and D, that stands for distance. Basically what that is Orvis's way with this rod range of kind of giving you an option of a softer, slower rod, which is the F, the finesse, nice and finessey, and then you have your D for distance, which I'm pretty sure you can work out means it's got more power in it, it's a faster action rod, so it can do heavier stuff. So the reel seat's just your plain black run-of-the-mill reel seat. I mean, it's really nice, it's simple, it's sleek, it's solid. So the reel sits in there really nicely, does up nice and snug, and then once it's done up, you don't tend to have that trouble of it loosening off while you're fishing. I don't think I've had that trouble once yet, so that's really good. Once the reel's sitting in there, it's really snug, there's no gaps, it lines up beautifully and looks really, really nice. The cork handle, it's a nice smooth rounded style. I know some of those rods these days have that kind of angular look to them, which I haven't really fished many of them, but I much prefer this style. It sits nicely in your hand, and it's nicely done, nice shape, nice and smooth, good quality cork, and nice and ergonomic, and real easy and comfortable to fish with. So there's several different styles now. You have your plain white H3. So H3 is known for that white kind of look to it, and there's actually two other ones now. There's this really cool looking blue one. That blue really pops, especially on an overcast dull day, so it looks really, really cool. There's also an olive green one, which I don't have, but I've seen them and they look really sleek and kind of subtle. I like that one a lot. You have the white, you have the blue, and you have the olive styles these days, which is really, really cool. Nice to have those options, and if you're like me, I like a bit of colour in my fishing gear, so it's nice to have those to choose from. As far as the guides go, you have this nice big stripping guide on the 5-weight. It's a decent size, so it doesn't restrict your casting at all. And on the 6-weight one, there's 2 stripping guides. On the 5-weight, just the one. And then you have the snake guides running up the rest of the rod, nicely finished, look good, do the job. And then the tip ring at the end, nicely seated, looks nice and neat. As you'd expect with a top end rod, all nicely finished and looks really, really cool and neat. And then you have the little white dots, which you line up when you're putting the rod together, which is so simple, but it's just genius. It makes putting your rod together just super simple and thoughtless pretty much. You don't have to look down the rod and line up the guides just using your eyes. You just line up the dots, away you go, and you know everything's perfectly lined up. With the Helios 3D, you have so much power in that bottom half of the rod that it just makes roll casting and water loading and just fishing heavy gear, heavy rigs, heavy nymphs really, really easy. As you can see here, it just makes roll casting an absolute dream. Mending, super easy, really effective and effortless. Also, when you're fighting a fish, you really have that bottom half of the rod there to really just dig into, especially when you're playing a big fish that has lots of power. You really can just dig in and really use the backbone of that rod to help control the fish. I generally fish 5-weights and 6-weights, mainly 5-weights in the North Island, more 6-weights in the South Island on those bigger rivers. I've fished both the F and the D in the 5 and the 6-weight. Been fishing them for a while now, a couple of seasons, and got a pretty easy way to break down the difference between the two. Right, so as you can see, like, I'm pretty layered up. I'm on the other side of the world if you're in the States, and it's pretty cold and wintry here. So what we're into now is, you know, more rainfall, bigger rivers, and we're fishing heavy nymphs with indicators, long leaders, potentially in, you know, rain and wind. Don't really get snow here. You know, bigger water. So this is the 5-weight D, and I tell you how I get the most out of it. Because of the faster action, it's not so much suited to dry dropper style fishing, you know, presentation, casting, that kind of thing. That's where the F really comes into its own. Where this guy comes into its own, this is where the backbone and the power of this rod really helps you out. I then tend to load a Scientific Angler's 6-weight Infinity Smooth on here, so I'm overloading it by a line weight, so it makes it really easy to load that rod. Really helps you turn over those heavy bombs, those bits of split shot, those eggs, those indicators, those longer leaders, using your roll casts, using your water loads, that kind of stuff. And it really helps you just launch those things around the river. This is a real workhorse. Not really there for your dry fly, dry dropper, presentation kind of stuff, small creeks, but when you need something that's going to work for you, that's where this thing really comes into its own. You can present a dry fly on it with a long leader and it does the job, but it's just not quite as nice to use as the F. If you're thinking about getting a Helios 3 and you're not sure between the F and the D, I'd say look at the kind of fishing you're going to be doing mostly with it and then pick the rod from there. You know, if you're mainly fishing small stuff, dry dropper, light rigs, presentation kind of stuff, then you're probably going to want whatever rod weight you get, you're probably going to want the F. If you want it for more throwing streamers, heavy nymphing, long leaders, heavy flies, split shot even, that kind of stuff, then probably the D is going to be more for you. Alright, I hope that helps you out. Hope that makes it a bit clearer. Have yourselves a great day, everyone. See you on the next one.